Welcome back to the ADCC Update Show, the coolest club for alley cats and slick daddies alike. I'm the club president, Trey Robinson. Over here, we got Corey Stockton, C Murder. We got Uncle Reed right here, and then Slick Joey over there on the table. And yeah, we're freshly back from Las Vegas, Nevada, where we were out there for the West Coast Trials. Obviously, West Coast Trials is a super hype tournament, super fun time, and it's kind of that last ticket to punch your ticket to the ADCC World Championship. I know we got Asian Trials still, but it just feels like that last stop. So overall, what'd you kind of think West Coast Trials?
Man, this is why we do it, right? We got four and a half months, I think, now to the ADCC World Championships. All these guys punch their tickets. I mean, such a hype tournament. So many crazy things happened. So many incredible submissions. Like, yeah, it was just an incredible tournament, man. So much fun.
100%. Corey, what'd you think?
Yeah, ADCC West Coast Trials especially feels like ADCC Light, right? It just, It's got this crazy energy about it. You can just feel the audience. Everybody's really engaged. There's some huge names competing at trials, and all of them, it's like their last chance to get there. So it is just, the energy is really high. The stakes are really high, and you feel that 2 days long of just guys trying to kill each other for that one spot that's left for them.
It's like an intimate ADCC World Championships, because like anybody who's there, like the fans and everything, like they're on the mat, they're right there next to the action. Like if you guys have not been to an ADCC trials event, like you got to go check out a trials event, because it's this beautiful organized chaos that just really puts things into perspective, just like how badass these dudes are who are going out there winning 6, 7, 8 matches, whatever it is. It's a marathon. I'm a little exhausted from it for sure. It was a long weekend. It was a crazy one, but man, was it worth it.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Trials kind of feel like at this point, because especially the way Mo's kind of brought it to the people and let the people be so involved in the trials itself, like obviously as fans and stuff, but you get to be right on the edge of the mat, you know what I mean? You get to be right up in the action. Like at some point, if you're mat side just enjoying trials all day, there will come a moment where someone comes crashing into you, and now you're a small part of that match forever.
Exactly.
You're a small part of ADCC history forever in that moment. And I just think that creates such a crazy environment, like you're saying. Like really, people do need to go check out trials, like go be a part of that. But it feels like a mosh pit to some degree, like whenever you're trying, like obviously we got cameras, we're trying to get up in there certain matches to film, and it really does feel like you're pushing through multiple rows into like a concert or some sort of mosh pit. And but yeah, just super great vibe. Joe, what about you? You have any overall thoughts, anything that stood out to you from trials?
I 100% agree, and there is this sense like there's so many matches going on, and people can come crashing into you that like you'll turn to watch one match, but you kind of need to keep like one eye over here. Yeah. Especially like if you turn your back to a match, just the way things are, super high chance that people are going to run into you and wreck you if you are not kind of paying attention to everything. So many world-class grapplers, so much world-class action, ton of great finishes, ton of great head-to-head matchups, upsets, unbelievable weekend.
Yeah,
one of the best tournaments of the year.
For sure. I feel like you can start feeling it, like when someone's going to go off the mat. It's like two dudes have kind of been pushing each other, getting to the edge and circling back a few times, and you're like, dude, these dudes are going to go crashing into the crowd soon enough.
Andrew Tacket almost took you out at one match, right?
In the final. I think it was the final, yeah. Now, listen, okay, I want to address that. I'm glad you brought that up, because I got a lot of messages, right? A lot of DMs. People saying I showed cowardice in that moment, that I turned and fled, that I was afraid of the smoke. I'm getting a lot of messages like that, all right? And, this is the thing. My biggest fear is me accidentally becoming a part of the match. And, like, say Andrew Tacket trips on me and then gets taken down, whatever, and then now
breaks his ankle.
Exactly. The results are different. So I was doing my best to get out of there, to stay a fly on the wall.
People don't know this. You're kind of like built like stone, basically. Yeah, so like running into you is kind of like running into a brick wall.
Yes,
basically.
That is what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
So Andrew Tacket slammed into me, and go rewatch the tapes, dude. He comes to a halt. If I wasn't there, he would have just slammed through barricades. He would have taken out children, women, people in wheelchairs, all kinds of stuff. It would have been mass chaos if I wasn't standing there, Stonewall Robinson, to just boom, dude, to stop him right there dead in his tracks. And I thank God that Andrew didn't get injured from slamming into me.
Honestly, he probably would have ended up outside.
Yeah, exactly.
What, people think you're afraid of Andrew Tacket? I guess.
Oh my God. Oh my God, dude!
It is not a serious place.
I couldn't imagine the day. Oh man, I rue the day. But that is rich. All you people DMing me, that is rich coming from you that I showed cowardice. But anyway,
glad we got that out of the way.
So thank God we addressed that. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Andrew Tacket. Obviously, Andrew had an incredible run. He ended up winning 77 kilos. Should we just go through like talk about or list everyone that won real quick? Talk about our champions. So obviously, I don't know. Maybe Joe has it on a list or something. Just in case, it's hard to sort through all this info.
Yeah,
day after.
Eight invites or 8 people punched their ticket right to the ADCC World Championships, and
sure, I'll just run through it real quick. Minus 66, DeAndre Corby wins. Minus 77, Andrew Tacket wins. Minus 88, William Tacket wins. First time 2 brothers have won a trials that I'm aware of. I've been going around trying to double check that, make sure. I can't find any other examples. I thought maybe the Hiberos, but no, there was invites going around. Minus 99, it was Pixley, incredible. Plus 99, even though he was not plus 99 in terms of the scale, it was Michael Perez.
Legend.
El Patron.
Boy, El Patron.
Oh, crazy. And then women's divisions, it was Jasmine Hocha, it was Helena Kravar, and Elizabeth Mitrovic.
Yeah, so there's obviously some huge stories coming out of this one, and I mean, anyone who punches their ticket to ADCC World Championship is it's incredible. We kind of talked about this a little bit, Reed. It's like once you win trials, now that you're a trials champion, you are you get moved from this general pot of great grapplers into this select group where it's now you're kind of undeniable. You deserve to be at the top of the sport. You pretty much have a bid to kind of stake a claim to pretty much all the super fight cards now. You have a justification of why you should be competing and stuff. So it's just awesome to see these people go out and win trials. But I think there's a few specific storylines that are kind of stand out. Obviously the Tacket bros, and then I would say Michael Pixley getting it done, and then El Patron winning at plus 99.
Yeah. I feel like, man, if we could just maybe start with Pixley, just because I feel like he's one of the guys that maybe some people don't know as well. Tackets have been in the game for a long time. Mike Perez been in the game for a very long time. But Pixley kind of new to the scene. Obviously he's with the Daisy Fresh crew, Pedigo Submission Fighting. If you're in it, of course, you know how accomplished of a wrestler he is, and what a mean-looking grappler he looks like out there. He gets Darces and Kimuras that I want nothing to do with. But that match for me, was kind of the most nerve-wracking match of the entire tournament, maybe, just because how close it was between Adam Bradley and Michael Pixley, and you could just see both of them wanted it so bad, and they were just both dog tired. Both those dudes had to kind of dig extremely deep to give 110%, and just for me that was one of the best matches of the tournament, just because how close it was, how deep down these guys had to dig for it, and really, really close match, but Pixley got it done, man, and it was incredible. And he's a young guy, young in the game, so for him to be going to the World Championships against some of the best grapplers in the world, the Kainan Duartes, the Craig Joneses, and et cetera, huge opportunity for a young guy like Michael Pixley.
Something interesting about Pixley too is Pixley's advantage, at least on paper, coming into any division, but especially the 99 division, is his wrestling, right? He is a national champion.
He might be the best wrestler in jiu-jitsu. I don't know.
He's a champion wrestler, right? He's a very high level wrestler. But on his road to gold, he had to beat 2, I think, NIAA champion wrestlers. So he was challenged in his specialty, and he came out on top.
Yeah, 100%. Pixley's slide by to the back to either sometimes he ends up on turtle or something, and then he will Darce or rear naked you. It's so sick though. The slide by he hits on basically everyone, where he'll either just hit the slide by or slide by into a foot sweep. It makes me want to go study that, but it is sick. Pedigo obviously sent someone now from East Coast and West Coast trials. I know that was a big deal for Heath. He was super proud of that and stuff, which it is a pretty great accomplishment to send, especially 2 homegrown athletes in Jacob Couch and Michael Pixley, basically dudes who came up through the laundromat. That's pretty insane to think about. These guys are just in Mount Vernon, Illinois, in a laundromat for so long. Obviously, they have an upgraded facility now, but and now they're going to be at the ADCC World Championship along with Dante, another Pedigo fighter who didn't necessarily wasn't a Mount Vernon guy, but still definitely a big part of the team.
Yeah.
Known Heath for years. So yeah, they're gonna be sending 3 dudes to the World Championship.
Yeah, and that just attests to kind of how far the Daisy Fresh crew, how far Pedigo has come since the Daisy Fresh show started back in 2019. Right, they didn't have anybody at ADCC. They had Dante at ADCC, but he wasn't representing PSF then. Now they have at least 3 guys going to ADCC.
100%. What do you think, Joe?
Absolutely crazy. Listen to this, the times of Pixley's first 4 matches.
Oh, it's under 1:50,
Insane.
right?
It's 106 seconds total. 41 seconds first round, 14 seconds second round. Third round, 34 seconds, took his time. Fourth round, this was the guy that beat Devontae, that very good All-American wrestler, Cody Linton from Team Alpha Male, 17 seconds.
That's so crazy.
With a Peruvian necktie, too. He was showing a couple different things from that front headlock, which I really appreciated.
Peruvian necktie is dope.
And
Peruvian necktie was brutal.
And even Pixley fought Adam Bradley at the East Coast Trials and lost. So you can tell that he's improving out there in Mount Vernon. Just a huge win for him, man. Just a huge win. That was so sick. And just like, I love being in the corner with those guys because they're so passionate and so authentic. And I feel like, especially this time around, you could see how intense, they wanted it as bad too. Like Heath was screaming, Spatch was screaming, F this guy up, F him up right now. Like they were just throwing the kitchen sink out there, everything that it had from the entire team. And it worked, man. It worked. They willed Pixley, to the finish line. And I saw that he made a post that it still hasn't quite sunk in for him. It feels like, it's going to be a couple months before he really hits some that he's going to be walking out at T-Mobile Center,
Yeah, dude.
Arena.
All these, like, just picturing all the guys now who are going to get to walk out at T-Mobile Arena, it is such a crazy thing, Like even his teammate Jacob Couch, when I just think of like, man, Jacob Couch is going to walk out at T-Mobile Arena, a place that like Khabib fought Conor McGregor, you know what I mean? Like some of the most historic combat sports moments in history happened in T-Mobile Arena, and now we're starting to build this crew of guys who we're going to get to see there doing jiu-jitsu at the highest level, and it is pretty incredible. But another guy that we always talked about was Mike Perez. Mike Perez had a crazy run. I think he had some sick submissions along the way. He had a wrist lock that made one of our top 10 videos.
Brandon Reed.
You guys want to? I don't think he wrist locked Brandon Reed.
He ankle locked Brandon Reed. Yeah.
But we have a couple top 10 submission highlights. You guys want to watch the first one? Let's watch the first day 1 top 10 submission highlights. It should feature a few different people, but yeah, we'll just kind of play for you guys and we can talk through it here. It kicks off with obviously the legend, Barrett Yoshida.
Barrett Yoshida. Bunch of legends.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, a bunch of legends out there on the mat. Good to see him get a win. Bill the Grill, Gio Martinez, a couple of these guys that are a little older, but still out there slinging. This is the best part, though, right here. Oh, gotta be careful of that ref. Yeah. Watch that.
Really tapped him.
Yeah, and then so obviously Jocko was in the crowd here. Here's his daughter, Raina Willink. I was kind of curious. I was like, it's Jocko's daughter. Let's see how her jiu-jitsu is. But then she busted out this sick Terrico Plata, and I was like, oh shit, okay. So she knows some jiu-jitsu. You don't just luckily hit a Terrico Plata.
This surprised me because it's such a Terrico Plata is a deep cut, right? You expect maybe Jocko's jiu-jitsu to be mounted Kimuras, mounted arm bars, and just like gritty jiu-jitsu, but this is some high level stuff.
Yeah, 100%. She said she had to learn it because she trains with big, strong guys like Jocko, and she can't separate the arm for the Kimura. So enter the Terrico Plata. So kind of checks out there. But yeah, the submissions were firing at this trial. It's just 6 submissions all the way around. Up here we got Andy Varela.
Dude, Terrico Plata is such an underrated submission, though. It's like one of our favorite submissions ever.
Yeah, I think it's probably my favorite.
Yeah. Andy Varela looked on fire, man, all weekend. Such a fun guy to watch. And I feel like if you're trying to like get your friend into jiu-jitsu type of thing, Andy Varela is a guy to show him because man, this dude just has mean jiu-jitsu, badass jiu-jitsu. This is one of my favorite shots of the weekend.
I think it was after his first. Oh yeah,
he's gonna tap right now.
I think it was after his first match of day 2. He basically finished the match by like rock bottoming the guy.
Yeah.
And then
that was so weird.
Afterwards, I asked him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I've been all over the guy with like collar ties. I didn't want to get DQ'd, so I was just trying to take it easy." He was like, "By rock bottoming him?"
Yeah.
Oh, don't miss this one.
Yeah, I saw that highlight is wild.
I was pretty close to this one too, and there is a nasty sound. Not going to come up on the video, but for sure, Achilles is so exciting.
Yeah.
Just say no matter what, he is getting super awesome submissions or he's in incredible fights.
100%.
He is so box office.
Corey, what's Achilles say here? Because obviously he gets a submission and it pops really bad.
So there's a really loud pop right here. He gets up and goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Did it explode?"
Are you okay? He's like rubbing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Elite grapplers aren't trying to like ruin other grapplers' careers. You know, like nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that. I feel like especially like ADCC trials, you'll see like pros against Joes a little bit, and they're not trying to like absolutely
kind of a bloodbath the first few rounds, to be honest.
Dude, there's just so many good submissions. These are flying quick.
DeAndre 66 champ.
Yeah.
And he just threw him out there all day, but this especially, right?
Slam's
He's
legal.
one of the. I don't know if the slam was legal in that moment, to be honest.
In a submission, you can slam out.
When it's fully locked, but I don't know if it was.
It was locked enough.
Close enough for sure. DeAndre gets the dub, moves on. DeAndre and his brother Gavin obviously looked incredible. Eventually, they had to meet each other, but yeah, that was sick watching their run. And another sick run, Jasmine here.
Got a lot of siblings, right? Like both Corbys, both Hochas, both Tackets. Very sibling heavy event over the weekend.
Yeah, I feel like if you have a brother or a sister that you can just train with anytime you want and just go to war with them, like who can you go to war with better than your own brother or your sister or whatever?
They know your weaknesses.
Yeah.
They're going to exploit them. You get better that way for
like
sure.
what a little cheat code it is, you know? Like I have to kind of like find somebody and develop a relationship with them and you know, like go through those kind of like
an impossible task.
go through those kind of like weird situations where it's like, I went too hard, you went too hard, kind of get over that, and then, you know, it takes a long time.
And then you have
relationship.
Then you have Cade and Ty who are just
Exactly.
like, you didn't go hard enough, man. You didn't try and kill me in that round. Let's do it over.
Dude, my brother did just recently get into jiu-jitsu. He started training. He's got his first comp coming
I'm
up.
still trying to get my brothers in.
It is so sick to just get to beat up, especially because my brother's like my big brother. He's 7 years older than me. He's like 6'4", 6'5". Like I'm 6 foot, so he's significantly bigger and stuff. And I'm just like, I get to beat up my big brother now. That's such a sick part of jiu-jitsu. What do we got going on here?
Brothers.
Yeah,
brothers.
This genuinely is one of the best submissions of the weekend. Nobody else hit a go-go plata.
He throws this onto the face, and he doesn't get quite under the chin. And so Richie afterwards is going to come up with a mark on his foot. I don't know how much of it we have, but like
kind of ended up on the teeth.
He really wrenched in this go-go plata. But you knew Richie, especially when he entered -99, was just going to come in and do some dope shit in these first couple of rounds. Wasn't able to continue later in the tournament, ended up with a knee injury. He did get it under the chin by the end there. Big Eddie in the corner.
And that dude's huge. That dude is huge.
That dude,
like a big, muscly guy like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, afterwards he had like his foot was bleeding because of the teeth marks that he had there.
That's crazy. You guys ever been go-go plata? That's pretty gross, to be honest.
Yeah, no.
This is a wild.
I don't let that happen.
So shout out to the kid here who nearly takes the back. I think his name is Vince. But Majid, so experienced, so clever with this Kimura grip that he has on the arm there.
Majid just does the kind of stuff that like should not work.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the greatest example. Just like the straight arm lock with the back control sunk in.
Just like Majid out there doing some bullshit.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Like what's cooler than that?
Majid is one of the funnest guys to watch in my opinion because he just like is so chill and looks like he's like, I guess I'll roll with this kid.
He walked in off the street.
He looks like he's like
short.
He looks like
sand between his toes.
Oh, exactly. Still got a little sand between my toes.
We got to call this one out. J-Rod, this was his second match on the day. In the first match, he had a chest smother, right? Just like a classic mount smother. He tries it again here.
Style, yeah.
Pound for pound, J-Rod gotta have the funnest jiu-jitsu at trials for me, man. Like every single one of J-Rod's matches is just electric. And Nicky Rod even kind of like likened him to Gary Tonin at the end. And I think that's a good comparison because like he just maybe gets in a bad position, but then just like whoop, he's out of the bad position, and it's just like left and right, he's throwing crazy stuff. Look at him.
Oh, come on.
He's hamming it up.
Come on.
Like, what a legend.
Yeah, making the face for the camera.
I was talking to Nicky Rod about this afterwards. He's just like, yeah, Jay has such big hands. He just puts them on the guy's face, and that's it. You know, your nose and mouth are covered at the same time. Crazy. You're not breathing.
Nicky Rod told me after this, I was talking to him, and he was like telling Jay that the smother was bullshit. And Jay like immediately went over. I was like, I told you it's not bullshit, bro.
2 in a row. Jay's smother master. Gio is about to hit.
This one goes
absolutely
quick.
Disgusting.
Woo! Almost as sick as. Ooh.
Got him.
Gary Tonin hit it on Edwin Najmi at the World Championships in 2019. Very similar.
Same setup, too. Like, a lot of guys put the hand on the floor to, like, break the fall. Gio and Gary both just leap into it.
Yeah.
Leap of faith.
Dude,
there we go.
Those were 10 killer submissions, man. Those were 10 awesome submissions.
I mean, Trials really is, especially day one, is just kind of like nonstop submissions. You know, you like everywhere you look, you're like, oh, Kami Basami, oh shit, our rear naked choke, heel hook, tons of heel hooks. But it is just a submission fest. So, what do you guys think out of those first 10? Was there anybody in there that kind of had like a sick run or anything you want to talk about? Talk more about J-Rod, honestly. J-Rod eventually made it to the finals where he fought William Tacket. He had 2 smothers along the way, one from the back like that, and then one kind of like the mother's milk.
He had an incredible
Angelo.
The Angelo match too, and his quarterfinal. I forget
Javier Barter.
Yeah, is that who it was? I forget who his quarterfinal was, but both those matches, Angelo was in on a deep single leg, and Jay would just whoop and just grab his ankle or something like that. Wrestle back in, just grab an ankle and trip him, just some of the craziest, just wildest jiu-jitsu, jumping over back takes and stuff like that. And ran into William Tacket. He fought William Tacket in the 3rd place match at East Coast. So maybe William Tacket kind of has J-Rod's number a little bit. But another guy, we were talking about Michael Pixley being young in the game. Another guy who's just super young in the game, Jay Rodriguez. I don't know. How old is Jay? 20, 21, 22?
I guess it would be like 20 or 21.
Yeah, 20, 21.
Sure,
somewhere around there. He obviously had a breakout performance at the last ADCC West Coast Trials. Fingers crossed J-Rod gets the invite, to be honest. I think ADCC Worlds is better if J-Rod's out there doing his thing because, like I said, pound for pound, some of the funnest jiu-jitsu out there, in my opinion.
100%.
Jay is 22.
22.
22. All right, old head.
So hopefully they went out and celebrated.
Happy birthday in February, Jay. Happy 22nd in February.
What do you think, Corey? You think it stood out to you?
I'm sure we're going to talk about the champs later, but Jasmine Rocha submitted just about everybody, and with some mean stuff, with some Wagner Rocha looking stuff, right? The one that jumped out to me from day 2, I don't think it made the cut, but against Ali Wolski, she's kind of in her guard. She's trying to get on top. She gives Ali a hard kick to the shoulder, knocks her down, scoops up the heel, finishes it. And I'm talking to Wagner later. He's just like, Jasmine came over and Wagner says, man, you kicked her hard in the chest. I felt that. And he looks at me, he goes, who taught this girl? That is the Wagner Rocha style. Come on, man.
Tell us a little bit about Jasmine's run to get here, right? Because she's done a bunch.
Yeah, so if we go back to the last ADCC cycle, she made it to several semifinals. She lost to, I think, Maisa in South America in the semis. She lost to BSM in the semis in the 22 cycle. And she was telling me after her win, I'm not going to wait another 2 years. This is my season. So she lost to Alex Enriquez in the final at East Coast Trials. She competed again at South American Trials against A-Rod. She lost the decision, I think it was, or maybe 2 points. But it was a close loss either way, right? And she just thought, I'm not going to lose this. This is my time. And she came out, submitted everybody. Not everybody. She had a lot of submissions. She beat Tammy Musamichi. She beat Alex Enriquez. She had not an easy road and just kind of cakewalked it.
Yeah, and eventually ended up with the submission in the finals, right?
Yeah.
She got Alex Enriquez's back and ended up sinking the rear naked choke. She was kind of doing the, a little bit of celebrating on the back thing. I know people in the comments don't really like that, but I'm not gonna lie, I think it's
super sick.
I think it's sick, dude. And honestly, Jasmine is really cool. Very nice, actually. I hate to break her persona to everybody, but she plays the villain of the sport so well. She is able to get a huge reaction out of people watching and people who like to comment on the internet. So I think Jasmine's great for the sport, great for ADCC also. So
yeah, the whole Hocha family, some of the nicest people you'll meet, but some of the last people you'll ever want to grapple. All of them. Yeah, some of the meanest jiu-jitsu. Yeah, like I said, I don't even want to be opposite corner of Wagner. He's a mean corner. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. But yeah, Jasmine, for me is one of my favorite people to watch right now, especially just because every single competition she does, you can see her just getting better and better and better. You can see her kind of development. She obviously had a match on Who's Number One against Fionn. All of these matches that she's doing, she's been very active. East Coast Trials, South American Trials, and every single time she steps on the mat, you can see a better version of herself, and that's just extremely inspiring.
Yeah, 100%. And she's going to be competing again along with her dad at Who's Number 123, May 10th in Arlington, Texas. So, just announced Marigali is going to be going up against Wagner Rocha in the main event, so you guys don't want to miss that one. And then we already announced Jasmine's going to be competing against Emily Fajera on the main card. So tune into that one. But I got some more submissions to show you guys. We have a day 2 top 10 submission highlight. So if we want to roll that, we can kind of, talk through it a little bit and just talk about some of these other things. Kick it off with a little hype sizzle reel here. There's the Pedigo boys celebrating and everything, but day 2, honestly, just as stacked as day 1 with submissions. You got El Patron there also. After El Patron won, he I'm following him around, and he just looks at me and goes, "What's up, bro?" And I was like, how do you feel? And he just goes, "The prodigal son has returned. It's been a long time coming." And then went off on this diatribe, and it was awesome.
Let's go. Kyle Chambers was maybe the biggest 77 at the tournament. And this is such a fun leg lock battle that him and Majid had. Kyle didn't end up winning. He lost to Andrew Tacket eventually, but I thought he had a really great performance.
And Kyle versus Majid was the kind of match that it just stole. You could see in the room, stole everybody's focus. Right, there was so much going on at that time because it was a quarterfinal, and everybody just dialed into this matchup because who knows what's going to happen between those two.
I think round of 16, but yeah, 100%.
It is such a style clash, such a wild thing. But here's Michael Pixley. There's that slide by to the back I was talking about earlier. A common thread in a Michael Pixley match.
I'm pretty sure on this he already has he had the arm trapped when he sunk in the choke at least, and he doesn't even finish with hooks.
Yeah,
just so much squeeze, beast. So much power.
There's not a lot of dudes who are just as mean as Pixley on the mat. He is a mean grappler, bro. He's not really someone I would want to be across from.
I can attest to that.
Yeah. Sure. Oh yeah, Corey got beat up by him. Forgot about that. And then here's Keith Krikorian, another guy with an incredible run to the finals.
Yeah, Keith just looked on fire. I thought he did just look kind of head and shoulders better than really everybody out there except for maybe one person.
Up until he lost, Keith submitted every single person.
He looked so good. Yep. He looked so good.
Honestly, it's one of the best. It might be the best I've ever seen Keith Krikorian overall.
But also shout out Jordan Holly there. Jordan Holly had an incredible tournament too. Obviously, we're showing the opposite side here, but he had a great tournament too. Submitted Gio Martinez and had a bunch of great matches. So that was big for him.
Yeah, Keith. Super excited there. Keith just kind of in a great headspace, it seems like. I saw him post
hard not to root for Keith.
Yeah. I saw him talking about how this was just the most fun he's had at a tournament, which is kind of dope to hear, I guess. And then Amanda Levy. Amanda obviously.
That's the takedown I was talking about. That she just hits on everybody, right?
It is super sick.
Yeah.
Amanda looked so solid all weekend too. She looked unstoppable. She looked a head and shoulders above everybody up until that final.
Yeah. She obviously just had kind of a freak injury. Yeah, not even in a submission or anything. Just kind of shot in and something happened with her knee. So hopefully she's all right.
Yeah, hopefully she can come back because I think she definitely deserves an invite. And I'm sure everybody kind of agrees. Hopefully she can come back from that knee injury. Hopefully it's nothing too bad, but who knows?
Kind of crazy. All 3 women's champions from East Coast lost in the finals of West Coast.
Wow, that is crazy.
Then here we got
Big Vince.
Yeah, Big
down.
Vince here.
Needs to make something happen. Vince is a B-team guy. Trains all the time with Heisam, with Nicky Rod. Super tough guy.
Look at him just forcing this knee bar.
Yeah, this was
nah, dude. I am going to.
Yeah, this was one of the more brutal leg locks.
Effort.
I don't want this dude.
Yeah, that's so gnarly, bro.
A huge performance from Vince this weekend. He lost in the final. Very, very close match. Could have gone either way against Perez in the final. But a lot of people maybe don't know Vince. He's kind of one of the newer guys in the B team, but obviously been training with B team for the last several years. So awesome to see kind of Vince have his coming out party as well.
And then here we go. We kind of mentioned
more Jasmine Roach action.
This is her final right here.
Shout out Slack for getting one of the best shots of the weekend right here. I think this is a killer one, and
just right up in it.
Come on, how can you not like Jasmine, man?
Yeah,
she's playing. Look at the crowd's inches from her. Of course she's gonna celebrate.
For sure, bro.
I swear the Hochas are better than anybody at finding the camera, knowing exactly when you turn on a camera, where it is. It's like hearing a stick break in the woods, and the animal just looks over to it immediately.
What a great show.
Tap, yeah.
Woo! Yeah, Alex had a great tournament too.
Yeah.
Wagner already on the mat by the time she's tapping. I swear to God, he was already halfway out there. She's come up so close in so many trials. Lost to A-Rod, lost at East Coast, got it done. This is maybe one of the craziest ones.
Yeah, I've been putting Corey in this a lot. Not even kidding.
It's a rare submission.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking shit about the reverse close guard.
Is real, dude. We need to. Reverse close guard is the breakout.
And then the A block right there.
The A block is so gnarly.
Yeah.
It has so much force on the foot you can't extend your foot out of it or it breaks worse.
It's different than just a toe hold?
It's closer to a heel hook.
Abe said like he was like he kind of always says like don't blow the cover if you're doing it in gi, but it's like it really acts more as like a heel hook on like their body than it does as a toe hold itself, like the way it like torques. But the other thing is because your arms like wrap through, they literally can't extend their foot. Like when you kick out of a toe hold, it like you just can't do that. But and then here we go. We got DeAndre Corby versus AJ Agazarm. This one is crazy.
AJ obviously.
I think you filmed this.
Yeah, AJ is obviously a dude like you just can't submit him. Like you have to choke him unconscious if you want to get a win via submission from AJ. And so DeAndre obliged, I guess.
I guess so.
AJ had a couple scraps though. There were a couple matches that just like,
and there he's out.
Just wild fights the whole time. We're just like, man, how is he still in this? Like he's defending off the back. He's hanging on to a Kimura, trying to.
He's out for a lot.
That's what I was telling you. I was like AJ's out right now. AJ's out right now. Nobody knows.
Yeah, you can definitely hear you guys having a conversation.
Oh really?
Cliff, yes.
Oh, whoops.
But yeah, DeAndre is a beast, bro. Looked incredible.
With my sick. Lunch ordering skills.
Yeah. Asking him his Chipotle order. And then here we go. This one's quick. Don't blink. All right. Boom. There it is.
Dude, what's sicker than this?
There is nobody better right
bro.
now at a closed guard wrist lock than El Patron.
Maybe ever. Like, it's kind of hard to like who hits like people are good at closed guard wrist lock in competition have hit it like once or twice.
Yeah.
Perez has hit a gang of them.
That wrist lock is so sick though. Like so dope. Shout out Pete the Greep. Wrist lock the world.
Andrew Tacket gets the number one, huh?
That's the number one.
Yeah, this is great. Who's next rematch? Both these guys are great. Love both of them.
Andrew is just so smooth, bro. That's why I gave him the number one. The whole sequence was like, it was just so smooth, so sick. And also to finish Kyle Chambers is no small task,
Rematch of their next match.
The last time they had this match, it was 2 hours long, right?
Yeah. And Kyle won.
Boom.
And Kyle won with a knee bar. Andrew came back, got his revenge. This was, I think, the quarterfinals. Kept it rolling. Absolutely insane.
One thing you love to see between the Who's Next guys, too, is like a lot of people don't know, they all stay together. They stay in touch, right? So Andrew was genuinely sad to have to finish Kyle like that. But,
Look at the boys. Look at the boys.
There's good feeling there.
That's awesome. Both those dudes.
Andrew, good guy.
Two of the best.
Yeah.
But Tackets, man, let's go deep on the Tackets for a second because like both those guys just could not be denied this weekend. They fed off each other. Anytime William won, Andrew knew he had to come back and win. Anytime Andrew won, William knew he had to one up his younger brother. So like man, just what a legendary performance from those guys. They were far and away some of the best guys at the entire tournament. Their jiu-jitsu just flawless. And we were saying earlier like. These guys just don't have a weakness. It seems like they're incredible wrestlers. They have incredible submissions. They'll take your back. They can leg lock battle with the best of them. Like where are these guys bad?
I mean, nowhere. I think is the answer, and I think they proved it.
Part of it is like that brother effect, right? Like, okay, Andrew had a leg lock weakness for a little bit, and his brother is William. William's one of the best leg lockers in the scene right now. So, okay, I've got a leg lock problem. Let's fix it. Okay, maybe William's got some wrestling issues. Andrew will help him fix that. Like, so they just one up each other and elevate each other nonstop. There's a degree to which too, like both these guys kind of fought 2 tournaments. Like every time Andrew was on the mat, there's William screaming, warming up and screaming. Every time William's on the mat, there's Andrew in his warm-up suit, kind of hopping up and down, but also yelling orders at William. And so these guys were at work constantly and just like tiring each other out, tiring themselves out, but realizing like, I think Andrew said to me, I wanted to win. Of course I wanted to win, but I would rather be there coaching William, watching William win than win myself. And I think they both had that same feeling. And that certainly helped them pull each other up. And then, when William won, Andrew knew I have to win now.
Yeah, just incredible. And like you said, like they do just care so much about both of them having success.
So wholesome.
Yeah, so wholesome. Andrew kind of had this like ongoing thing. Like throughout the tournament, he kept like telling my camera and stuff. He's like, I don't want to let the dog off the leash. I'm trying to keep the dog on the leash. I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to, And he's like, but if they start it, I'll let the dog off the leash. I was like, oh, okay, this guy's for
sure. It won't take too much.
Yeah, he's like, well, either they might let me off the leash or a dog might turn around, bite the chain, get off the leash, come for these guys. And then there was a moment where I think like either William had just won or Andrew, maybe it was Andrew had just won, and William came over to him and he was like, Andrew, William doesn't, his leash is more like one of those retractable ones that like he goes pretty far, but then he like pulls it back in. You know, he never lets himself get too far away. And William's like, that's not a bad analogy. That's
good leash analogies.
Yeah, good leash analogies from the Tacket bros. But yeah, it was sick watching them. And then both to get the win, both brothers going to ADCC. I mean, that is some historic stuff right there.
I want to say there's an interesting soundbite from the conversation I had with William after the fact, because he was genuinely excited for Andrew. And when I was asking him, okay, but how about you? Like, how are you feeling? He was like, yeah, I have to do this now, and I have to focus on this, and I have to focus on this, and I want to get bigger, and I want to cut more weight. And he just seemed like very dialed in. I was like, what's the deal? You're so excited for your brother, and you're just like focused on your next thing. And he was like, well, last time I won trials, I achieved my dream, right? Only to go to ADCC and get sniped in 2 minutes. And then injured his foot in the process. So you have this walking reminder every time you wake up that like, oh yeah, you lost that moment that you like achieved your thing. And like, so now this is step one. Like now I have my goal, and like seeing that degree of kind of like focus and drive, and like he hasn't reached the finish line from William is really like, William's going to be a nightmare at 88.
100%. All right, who else should we talk about? Anybody else?
And now I was just going to say that, like, now we can see. I feel like we've been waiting a long time to see Andrew Tacket versus Mika Galvao versus, a mature Cade Rotolo, and some, JT Torres, a Joseph Chen. I know we've seen a couple times, but seeing it on the big stage now. So, that's the other thing now is like mixing up these guys who just, guys and girls who just won West Coast. Now they're in ADCC Worlds with the best grapplers in the world. We're going to see Michael Pixley versus Kynan, or Cade versus Andrew Tacket, or DeAndre Corby versus Diogo, So it's just like, man, it just opens everything up. And if you're a grappling fan, let's go, baby.
Yeah, Michael Pixley versus Kynan is actually super sick. Now that I think about it. That's a kind of a crazy match.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I will say Kynan probably...
I appreciate that, but
top
like
3 best grapplers ever are active right now. So
right now,
I wouldn't mind be a tall order.
Can he slide by him? I think yes.
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah.
I don't want to overlook Mike Perez.
Yeah.
Because I just like Perez, it's so crazy what he did. Like, okay, ADCC trials at plus 99, he was maybe one of the, I guess you could say top 16 favorites going in, but to win at plus 99, that's 220 pounds and over at 175 pounds in a tournament where you have to wrestle with guys.
Yeah. And we know he's 175 because he kept screaming that after he would win matches. So yeah, no doubt about his weight.
I feel like a lot of people, in the last 5 years or whatever, it seems like a lot of people, smaller guys, sign up for the heavy divisions these days. I feel like that's kind of a little bit of a trend where you see guys signing up for super heavyweight or plus 99. They're a lot smaller, but they never win.
Yeah.
So for Perez to go out there and beat these dudes, like, Vince in the final had to be like, I don't know, close to 100 pounds more than him. Like, Vince is a big dude, and not only did Perez just like win, but he hit flashy submissions. He hit wrist locks. He hit ankle locks. Like, he looked phenomenal. And one of the funnest things to watch over the weekend definitely was Perez doing his thing, screaming after he won his semifinal at Mo, "Where's my invite?" Like, it was just great theater. It was incredible.
For sure. It is kind of such a funny thing to watch a guy who's like just won his semis going on to the finals being like, "Where's my invite?" Like as if Mo's gonna stop me, like, whoa.
You don't need
no final.
He's invited.
Yeah. Mike Perez is invited, but I think obviously he was making a ploy for like, where's my 77 invite? I should have already been there or something. But
no matter what.
Yeah, he's there now.
Yeah, exactly.
And isn't it so much sweeter this way whenever you can just beat all them big boys and punch your ticket to the big show, Mike Perez? But who else? DeAndre Corby?
I wouldn't know. I'm huge. So.
Yeah.
And Perez, by the way, says he's staying 99. This is not some situation where he won plus and he's going to try to drop down a bunch of weight classes. This is his weight class, so we're going to see him and Victor Hugo, him and Nicky.
I will say that whenever a couple people pull out a 77, Then we'll know if he's gonna go
for right now. But the plan
Yeah.
for right now is
But
99.
it'd be a bummer, I think, though, for him to go down to 77 and have to fight Cade
Second
or
round.
JT.
Yeah.
Because like if there's going to be 3 or 4 guys, 'cause what's Jonathan Gracie? He's 77 or 88?
77. Yeah.
Jonathan Gracie 77.
Yeah.
Yes, they already have 2 guys.
I think JT now
They're
gets
f-
his own, but so like he's essential.
Oh yeah, he's
in
not
the ADCC.
technically Atos,
Yeah.
but even so, those guys don't want to fight. Mike Perez is a guy who's been training with JT since the East Coast days
Yeah.
for a long time. So I'm sure he doesn't want to fight him. So yeah, I think it makes sense for Perez to just bulk up a little bit, and go at Victor Hugo and go at Big Dan and stuff.
Is there any other Atos in plus?
No, it's crazy that out of all the Atos guys, Perez is probably the lightest, right? Cade probably walks around a lot heavier than 77.
Yeah.
But he's fighting in the heaviest category, right? So it's like
funny.
it's Cade, Jonathan Gracie, Ty, probably Hulk, and then
Such a big gym. They're all huge dudes.
huge.
And it's Mike Perez getting
Plus 99.
That is so awesome, dude. But like that just adds to the legend of Mike Perez
Yeah,
more and more.
yeah.
Like I don't know why, but it just makes sense that he's the guy who now punched his ticket at plus 99 as a 175-pound grappler. Like it just all adds up, I suppose.
Yeah, such a beast, Perez, man. That was so sick, and yeah, couldn't have happened to like one of the better guys in the sport. Glad that Mike Perez is going to ADCC. He 1000% deserves it.
For sure. So the minus 66 kilo champion, DeAndre Corby, obviously had a crazy run, ended up beating Keith Krikorian. Just overall, I mean, I don't know. I feel like we talked about it and we kind of said these kids are due. And that just kind of felt like what it was like. You know, it was like, all right, they're not getting stopped. They got the 2-for-1 special, Gavin and DeAndre. Eventually, DeAndre had to beat Gavin to get there. But do you know how many subs DeAndre got? You got that info?
I think it was like I'm sure Joe will have this.
Yeah,
but I
Joe's
think it was
probably
like
got it.
two of his 7 or 2 something. It was
less
than expected, but I think it's because
Gotcha.
he got a much harder, not a much harder, but a considerably harder side of the bracket than his brother, because Gavin took like 3rd or 4th at the East Coast Trials. So Gavin got the higher seed. DeAndre had kind of a road, right? He had to get through the AJs and he had to get through in the semi his own brother. He had Gianni Grippo on his side. So it was not an easy run. It was, he had to have a day, and he did have a day.
7 wins, 3 submissions.
Okay, there we go. I guess maybe in my head I just count Gavin's subs as his also.
It is kind of tough to not put them together. And not for nothing, he's always like attacking a submission. Like he has very heavy submission offense, a heavy emphasis on submission offense, and so like you can kind of just like see him. Oh, he's attacking the leg lock super hard. Then you look over here, and in your head you're associating him with just like, yeah, I bet he got it.
Well, and he had 2 virtually unsubmittable guys on his side, right? Gianni Grippo and AJ Agazarm. Now, he submitted one of them, but
Yeah.
You did it the
That
hard
Gianni
way.
fight was a war. That Gianni fight might have been his closest to the weekend, to be honest. Gianni, I thought, also had a good performance, but yeah, DeAndre was absolutely on one.
Yeah, he ended up winning that one right by a negative because Gianni jumped guillotine, which then they went to the ground, and eventually DeAndre got out of it. So then technically that's a pull. So in overtime, and I believe, and so that was the negative there. How DeAndre won, but what about the women's champions? We got Elizabeth Mitrovic, Helena Cravar, Jasmine Hosha. We talked a lot about Jasmine already, but Helena, I mean, looked incredible. She did it. So we were wondering if she would come back, have a final with Mo Black, which she did, and then overcome that gap of where she lost at East Coast, and she was able to get the win in this one.
yeah, at East Coast Trials, there was a noticeable hole in her game, right? She looked like she was uncomfortable wrestling, and so uncomfortable, in fact, that she pulled guard twice, accepted the negative, and figured, I'll make something happen here. That gave the win to Mo Black, and in the rematch at West Coast Trials, she looked like she didn't score a takedown, but she was much more confident in her wrestling. She was really trying that Uchimata that all the new wave guys like, and then she at the very end she solidified a front headlock and made that pay off for her to steal the match.
Yeah, so super crazy that Helena is going to be there at T-Mobile as well.
And what's even crazier though is that like she looks ADCC world champion caliber.
Absolutely.
You know, she really looks like she's going to be one of the favorites to win that division. Maybe depending on, you know, I'm not exactly sure where all the rest of the girls are going to kind of like the invites, how they're going to trickle out. But Helena, you know, another girl who just had not a lot of mat time. You know, she was ankle locking and smitten girls pretty quickly, and you know, really proving that she's kind of head and shoulders above a lot of these girls in this division. But I do really like the Mo Black versus Helena kind of rivalry that's brewing there, and who knows? I think Mo has a good shot at getting an invite as well, and we could even see that rematch on the world stage. So I think that's a really cool kind of rivalry brewing there.
That's the nice thing about this change that ADCC made at the beginning of the season, right? Adding another women's division. There are 8 more spots than there were in the previous season to extend to. I'm guessing a lot of those girls that do really well that should be there. A lot of like the Alex Enriquez types, the Mo Black types, they are this close, right?
Yeah.
They just lost in the final, but won East Coast Trials, for example.
100%. Yeah, I think that they are. This is such an interesting year because, in future years, it's going to be like returning place winners and trials winners and kind of back to regularly scheduled programming with how these divisions shake out for the women. But this year, you are having more like, let's throw Mackenzie Dern in at 55, right? Because we have a little bit more open space. And I think that at minus 65, if I were somebody like Mo Black, I would be staying ready.
Dude, Jasmine versus Mackenzie Dern.
That's
That's such a sick match.
That's why, dude. I'm waiting to see where Fionn goes.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't.
I guess I've always assumed she's gonna go under 55, but I don't know for sure. I would say her and BSM.
She said that.
I guess her and BSM are the two where I'm like, I want to see these invites come through because I'm curious which way they're gonna go. But like Fionn versus Mackenzie Dern, dude, that's an all-time match right there.
Yeah.
Real quick, like 55 is probably one of the most like densely packed divisions after trials. Just so far, like there's a lot of names that have been invited to minus 55 already. And it's like A-Rod, Jasmine, Maisa, Mackenzie, who am I missing? Margot.
Margot won
That
trials.
is crazy, yeah. Minus 55, insane division.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one.
What about plus 65, Elizabeth Mitrovic? So
Yeah.
she just won Nogi Worlds as well, right?
So
she's having a bit of a year.
Liz kind of turned a corner recently. There was a long time where, she'd come up bronze or come up just shy of bronze at a bunch of like IBJJF stuff. Never really competed much on the ADCC scene. I think this might have been her first trials, believe it or not. But in the last year, she won IBJJF Nogi Euros, Nogi Pans, Nogi Worlds, and then followed it up with this win.
Wow.
She looked phenomenal. She had a lot of really solid submission wins too on her path here.
Yeah, so obviously the final was like a bit of a bummer. Like I'm sure like even she was probably like a little bummed how that shaped up. Amanda Levy just like getting injured on a shot, like kind of really weird. I went back and watched it. Like it's hard to tell what really happens. Like obviously her knee just kind of gave out in some weird way. But yeah, you kind of mentioned it, Reed. Like hopefully she's able to get healthy and still get an invite and compete in that plus 65 division. Because I do like watching Amanda a lot because I like the way she kind of just like bullies girls. Like she just like when she beats someone, she like beats them up, which is kind of sick to see. But obviously,
she's a bruiser.
Shout out to Liz, though.
She's
the one who punched her ticket.
Yeah, not taking anything away from Liz. Obviously, it's a combat sport. It's that's that type of thing can happen, unfortunately, when you go out there. But hey, a win's a win, and somebody's going to or she's going to the World Championships now. So huge opportunity for her to really make some new fans and show that she's one of the best female grapplers in the world.
For sure. All right. I mean, we talked about pretty much everything. I guess I got a question for you, Reed. You went Monday to a little T-Mobile walkthrough, huh? You got to see it. You got to see the production areas, the back rooms, the little nooks and crannies of this thing. How's it look? Is it gonna be sick?
Yeah, man, it really made this this upcoming World Championships it's coming. We got 4 months basically now. We went to the T-Mobile, had a big walkthrough, saw all the backstage stuff, kind of did some production look-throughs and stuff like that, and got to see the floor and kind of how it's going to be laid out and everything like that. And I feel like all of us, everybody just kept saying like, holy shit, man, this is going to be incredible. Obviously, Thomas and Mack Center was a huge kind of staple for jiu-jitsu and for ADCC, but this just seems like it's leveling 1 or 2 levels up from that. Not a nicer arena in Vegas than the T-Mobile Center there. To think that thing's going to be full of 15,000 plus jiu-jitsu fans screaming for Gordon and for the Rotolos and for all the guys and girls that are going to be there. Like, this is something that if you're a fan, if you're on the fence, you are not going to want to miss this. Like, obviously, Mo and all those guys are going to deliver just like they always do. And this is going to be one of the greatest tournaments in jiu-jitsu history, hands down. And just seeing it, you know, kind of at T-Mobile, that this is going to happen in 4 months. You know, the jiu-jitsu world is about to descend on Vegas. Man, I can't wait for it. I can absolutely wait for it. It's going to be incredible.
100%, dude. So August 17th and 18th, man, it's all going down T-Mobile Arena. Thank you guys for tuning in to another ADCC update show. You know, the coolest club out there for alley cats and slick daddies alike, like you guys, you know.
I don't know about that.
Go drop a comment, you know, the alley cats anonymous down there in the chat. But we'll see you guys in the next episode.
T-Mobile have any alleys?
It's going to.
Alley cats?
Going to when we get
Some alley dogs.
Yeah.